Hey folks. So the cam towers leaking are pretty common occurrence on these motors. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this spark plug, ignition coil cover off and just see if I have any leaks. Killman, I forget the numbers behind his name, but he made some comments on that last video that these cam covers leak quite often and get in the spark plug well, and you have to pull the front of this whole back rear timing cover off and the water pump and all that if you're going to go for doing that. And I don't know, it'll depend on if it's leaking and how bad it's leaking if I go that far with it. But let's see what's going on under here for sure. I mean, there's just the slightest hint on the outside and right here of some oil moisture, but nothing on the inside, and I don't think I'm too concerned. It might not be a bad idea to do them while I have it apart or whatever, but I just don't think I want to turn it into that big of a project right now. Okay, so I think what I gotta do is get this little cover out. There's a bolt there and a bunch of these little plastic clippy things. If you can see that. These little plastic clips. So, oh, bonus. Remember that socket I lost? It fell out. There she is. That piece. Maybe I just gotta pull. Well, I might have to pull the whole thing. This might come out separate. We'll see. Yes, I know there's a special tool for this. I don't have it. Come on. So I'm going to pull this one out. Oh, there's one on this too. Back here hiding in this corner. You mechanics with lifts got it easy. Yep, there's our balancer. And see, it's got these spots right here like that you can put a nut in to put a puller on it. I know the Chrysler one, we had to have a special tool to get that off. I don't know. I'll see what happens when I get this bolt out. Getting ready to open up here, I think. I'm going to have to go ahead and start packing up the tools, because we're getting ready to have some thunderstorms. That's what happens when you work in a driveway. Alright, so I got the bolt out of the harmonic balancer there. I'm just doing this real quick before the thunderstorm opens up. But now I'm seeing a patch of light, so I don't know. I got this is a 27mm socket for that guy. I've pulled this line down a little bit here, and off camera I had to go through and just clean out these thread holes, and all I did was put it on my Ryobi impacting drill, and just take some good hardened bolts and stick them in there. These bolts and threads are M8 by 1.25. They're metric. And so now what I'm going to do is put my puller up on this pulley and pull this out of here. I had to get I had these laying in my assortment of bolts, but I'm sure you could go to Tractor Supply or something and buy these. But my puller kit is, I've had it since I was a teenager. Actually before that, I think since I was 10 or 11. It only has standard bolts with it. It didn't have any metric, so I'm using these other bolts. So I'll go ahead and get this on here. I'm just gonna put some washers behind the bolts here and thread them in. This actually threads into that crankshaft perfectly. Well, let me think about this. I'll be back. Alright, so here's what I found. This bolt, it's been a long time since I've used this tool. It's got these different ends in the kit. So I had the small end on it, right there. So I took that off. I put this bigger end right here on it, and that won't fit through the middle of the crankshaft. And then it can spin on that to, you know, apply the force to the bolts. So I think that's going to work better. So now we'll just go ahead and get this all set up on here. That's about as far back as I want to take it. Okay. Now I just gotta get this bolts in here. Okay, now these are started. I'm just gonna try to get them up here even. This line is right in the way. That looks like it needs to go this way just a hair more. Looks pretty straight. Alright, so now this is a 9/16 right here. Now I'm going to crank on this guy. Now I'll just have to apologize now, my arm's in the way. Coming out. Oh yeah, it's out quite a ways. I think it's just about there. Alright, she's out. Take this off. Lost the washer. Didn't really want to drop that, but it'll be alright. Harmonic balancer is off. Looks like there's no damage to the crankshaft at all. So I'm real happy with that. Okay, so I'm just basically going to go down through here and take these out. That's not 10. And take all these timing cover bolts loose. Pretty straightforward. Some of these bolts here are just a little hard to get to because of with the ratchet. There's basically just a spot here where this frame is, and pretty close to the engine, so this easy rad comes in handy. I think that's all of them. Okay, I think I'm ready to get this thing out of here now. Oh, whoops. I got my air ratchet out for part of those. Let's get it done. There'll be the timing chain. Looking, I think they're supposed to be, because these holes are both supposed to be down when it's at top dead center or something. I'm gonna have to look and see, look it up to see where the marks are to set top dead center on my online Chiltons, and then see if these two holes are off from each other when they're on top dead center. Would be my guess. If the chain's stretched, then these might not be lining up exactly right, but we'll really know when we get the chain out and compare it to the other timing chain. My issue here right now is I don't know how much, if I want to tear this all out right now. I'm waiting on parts. So I really expected the parts to be here by today. However, the place I got them from on eBay, I ordered them a week ago. They just shipped them yesterday. So it might be another week. So let me just go look up the timing marks on this guy, and then I'll be back. Okay, folks, so I've got the Chiltons online pulled up here, and what I'm seeing is there's the two sprockets, and it's this drawing right here, which I've got up in the background. So basically there's a pin. It looks like there's alignment dowel pins. It tells you the name of the tool somewhere in here, or the dowel pin, but yeah, install this number through the holes in the crankshaft sprockets to the holes in the timing chain housing for correct timing. And if they're way out, then you got to turn the engine back a certain amount and then set the camshafts and turn it forward and stuff. But I'm gonna see if I got a drill bit or something that will fit in these holes with them dead on. But the first thing I really want to see here is if I line up this mark down here on the sprocket with this mark on the block, will these two be in perfect alignment? Or will one be, slightly farther forward or farther back? There's a possibility that this timing chain would be stretched. And we'll check to make sure. It looks like there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 links from top to top. So, I'll count those two just to make sure there is 8 links and it hasn't, slipped a tooth or something. And then we'll see if these two holes line up dead on with this here. I mean, irregardless, I'm going to replace this timing chain. I've got it apart. It's not that expensive, so we'll get it replaced. It's an interference engine, so it's not a bad idea. But I'm just curious if it looks like it's, dead on right now. Okay, so at first I thought I was onto something here, because you can see the book shows he's almost straight up and down, like on both sides. This side's a little farther forward, but that's where the dowel pin holes are. See, like here you can see it doesn't go in very far. And we stick it in here and it goes way down into that dowel pin. I mean, these are lined up perfect with the dowel pins. And if I count the links here, straight up on this one, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. One here, 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, right in line with that one. So that's perfect. And if I come down here to the crankshaft, let me see if you can see this. Okay, let me get some light up here. So on this crankshaft, there's a dot right up there, and it lines up with a keyway. There's a little dot right above the keyway there. And those two are just dead on. They're as dead on can be. And the camshafts are dead on as can be. So it doesn't look like my problem is a timing issue. So I was probably led astray just by other people have had this problem before. They've seen it before and placing the timing chain has fixed it. But I have something else causing my issue that's not timing related. So it's good to know. It's an interference engine. It's not a bad idea to replace this timing chain. You want check out the water pump while I have the chain off. If I have to get into doing that, I might. But I'm still going to go ahead and replace it and put everything back. But I guess now I know it's not a timing related issue. This rough idle run and rich part. So I know one of the subscribers had suggested that I might want to check and see if I got like a bad O2 sensor that's not reading full. And I think the only way I can really do that is to have something to like hook it up to and graph it with, to watch it going back and forth electronically, to like directly hook to it, because the computer shows it swinging back and forth fine, but maybe it's not doing good enough. I don't know. I'm still thinking, I did test fuel injectors, and I was thinking, well, maybe it wasn't good enough, because what I did was unplug the injectors electronically, took the plugs out, let it sit overnight so they dried out good, and then put a paper towel over each cylinder while my wife cranked it, and made sure there was no fuel coming out, that they were staying shut. But I was like, there's a possibility that the injector, when it opens, doesn't close fast enough. Trying to think like how I would try to figure that out. But I think it's a Killman something on the comments. I don't know the number. Some numbers behind his name. But he said it's usually this little 3 to 4 inch vacuum line. I went through, I don't know, a while ago, and I thought I checked every vacuum line as good as I could. I pulled all this like throttle body thing off, cleaned it real good, tried to check everything. But I thought, now that I know this timing's dead on, I'm just going to double check one time. And because he said the hose could just be soft. And so I pulled this little hose out, and it didn't seem to be hooked to anything on the other end. And the end of it is completely split open. And it's soft as can be. So I think that might be my problem. I'm not sure. It goes to vacuum on the intake. I don't know if that goes back to like a map sensor or something. I'll have to look. But that might be the hose, and that might be the problem. Which means that all this was for naught. I'm okay with that. Mistakes are how you learn. I'm sure if I had some fancy gadgets and better training and stuff, or I probably could have done some kind of scope thingy and told that the timing was dead on and fine somehow, but I'm inspecting it here, it's dead on. That's got to be the problem, I think. So I am still going to go ahead and replace the timing chain when it comes in, and we'll finish this series up on that, because I also want to just check make sure that water pump spins good and free and nothing's wrong there. The thing's only got 89,000 miles on it, so I'm not going to replace a whole bunch of stuff if it doesn't need it at this point, because it'll probably rust out long before it gets 100,000 on it. So But it's good to know. I mean, a couple mechanic friends just swore by the fact that these stretch timing chains and have those exact same symptoms, which might be the case, but in this case, I guess a second closer visual inspection might have helped me avoid all this. But now that it's apart, I'm going for it. So I'm okay with that. It's no big deal. I'm just a dude who tries to fix my own cars. I'm not doing it for a profit or running a shop or anything. I'm happy because I got pumpkins. And as long as I have pumpkins, life is good. I'm getting ready to grill out some brats and some hamburgers. So I will go ahead and make this one part 2. And then on part 3 we'll start when the new timing chain gets here.